Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a bees test video. We're going to see what the actual increase in yield is for bees. So if we go into here, go down to the actual help menu, go down to animals types, go down to bees. Down here at the bottom it says, place your bees next to fields and soon you'll be leaving the land of milk, as bees will increase the yield of canola, sunflower, and potato. Okay, how much does it increase it? There's no percentages there, so we're going to find out exactly what that is. So we're going to test canola, sunflower, and potatoes all separately here on this test field to see it. So I have sunflower planted here. So there's 3 tests we're going to do, actually, well, 4 tests technically speaking, but there's a couple of things I want to test. So not only we're going to test the yield, we're going to test a couple other things. So first, we're going to test this harvest. We're going to wait for it to grow up. I have the game saved here with the harvester here. We're going to harvest this after it's ready to grow, document that, then we're going to load back in, and then we're going to place a beehive. We've got our construction, animals, bees down here at the end. We're going to place a beehive next to it, and we're going to place the big one because we know that it has a 150 meter area of effect, so we're going to place that. Then, after we're done with that test and we see the difference there, that should give us a good idea of what the actual percent increase is. And after we do the percent increase on that and we find out exactly what the yield effect is, we're going to extend our field down here to the very bottom. We're going to make it a nice long test field here. Then we're going to do the same 3 tests again. We're going to test it with no bees to see the yield of that field. Then we're going to test it with bees, but we're going to put down here at this end, we're going to put the smallest beehive down here because we know this has like a 50 meter effective range, which I have no way to measure out on the map, but I can guarantee that 50 meters is not a ring this big. So we'll see that. So, and the reason we're going to test that is to see, do you have to have the entire field within range of the bees, or do you just have to have a part of the field within that range that the bees are effective on? So that's kind of what we're going to test as far as all that goes. And we are going to try to run this test without having anywhere for their honey to go to see if, well, does it matter if they have somewhere for their honey to go? Do they need to pick up their honey in order to get that yield bonus? I don't think they do, because some of you may not want to actually deal with honey, which is fine. So we'll try to test all that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the tests on the sunflowers. Then again, I'm going to save the game after I harvest sunflowers, place bees down. Then I'm going to reload the game, or then I'm going to fast forward, harvest again. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put some canola down. Then I'm going to put a new harvester here. We're going to save the game while it's growing. We're going to run that test. Then we're going to reload the game, run the test with bees, and then we're going to do the same thing with potatoes on this field here. So we're going to run all of those tests just to see what's going on. Now for the potatoes test, I may not plant the whole field. As long as we harvest the same amount every time, it won't matter. It won't affect the test because we're looking at percentages here. So that's what we're going to end up doing. So I'm going to run those tests, and then I'll bring you guys back in so we can talk about the percentages of increase that bees provide to those various crop types. So I'll see you guys here in just a few seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just ran the potato test. So we have those 3 tests done. Now, before I go into the results there, for the final test where we check to see how the beehive affects, if it affects the whole field or just the portion of the field in range, I'm actually only going to run that on 1 crop because, well, the results that we got were consistent for the canola, sunflower, and potatoes in the first test, so I don't think there's a need to run it 3 times on that, but I'll explain that. So under canola, we harvested without any bees. We got 1,280 liters. When we reloaded the save and placed bees down, we got 1,325 liters for a 3.5% yield increase. So 3.5%. For sunflowers, we got 1,151 liters with no bees and 1,191 liters with bees for a 3.5% increase once again. For potatoes with no bees, we got 3,577 liters. With bees, we got 3,704 liters for a 3.5% increase as well. So consistently, bees will add 3.5% increase to your fields, which is pretty cool. So now we're going to run this test again with canola, and we're going to have, again, if we go to our menu here, I'm going to have this field run all the way down to here, and we'll just have a beehive up here, which there's no way this is 150 meters. That's a long way. So I actually will probably use the big beehive again just to keep the same beehive. And I will place it up here at the top end of the field here. So that way, I don't think the beehives will change the yield output depending on if they're big or small. I don't believe that's the case. Again, I haven't tested that, but I'm going to assume based on the fact that they each have a different range. But we're just to keep it all consistent, we're going to use the big beehive. And we're just going to place it up here in the corner. So theoretically speaking, only the top portion of this field will be in range. So we're going to go ahead and run that test, and then I'll bring you guys back in for us to wrap it up. All right, welcome back, everyone. So this test was interesting. When we harvested it without the bees, we got 4,224 liters. When we harvested it with the bees here on the corner, so theoretically 150 meters is probably only, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, something like that probably is probably the ring. We got 4,275 liters. That is only a 1.2% yield increase. So, based on that, I would say that yes, it's only going to affect the portions of the field within range, not the whole field. So you have to make sure you have, so if I wanted to cover this field here, for example, I'd probably need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd probably need a few around there. Now given you just get a bonus on the portions that it covers, but yeah, very interesting. So hopefully that helped you guys out, but that is the conclusion of my first test with bees. If you guys have other questions that you want answered, please let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to take a look into it. But anyhow, that is going to be it for me today, folks. If you enjoyed, drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching.